Hello, everyone. It's your friend Tristan Miller. I'm just here to inform you that I'm recording my first stand-up comedy album and special on May the 4th in New York City at Caveat at 4 p.m. You can go to the link in my bio on my social media platforms, or you can go to caveat.com, go to May the 4th, and buy tickets there. Highly recommend that you get them early as they are cheaper that way. Also, after the show, I'm going to go, Phantom Menace is playing in theaters. So I'm going to take a big group to go to the nearest AMC or whatever Cineplex and go see my favorite Star Wars movie. I'll say it with my full chest. My favorite Star Wars movie in theaters again. So hope to see you at both things. If you have to pick one, just pick my show, please. I would like to sell out the house if possible. Anyway, love you. Hope to see you soon. Okay, bye-bye. Coming soon to theaters, podcasts, film reviews, and so much more. Available at tristanmiller.substack.com.
And now, our feature presentation.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Focus Testing, a podcast about movies where we make a movie. My name is Tristan Miller, and joining me today is Jetta Juiansz. Hi, Jetta. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you? What are you drinking? Coffee?
Coffee. It's still the morning time for this little guy, despite it being mid-afternoon.
1 p.m. for everyone who is worried that he's drinking coffee right now.
Blowing up my spot. Tell me what time it is. So you're an actor, among other things, right?
Yes.
You do sketch comedy, among other things.
I do, yes.
Why and how?
Because it fuels me. Well, I started acting in high school, and then I sort of figured out that like comedy was like the thing that I was best at and also was the most fun thing you could do. I was like, oh, why would you not want to do this part of it? Like, this is the best part. And so I just started doing improv, and then I found sketch and was like loving this. So yeah, I really tried to do everything, but I would say sketch is like probably my bread and butter. It doesn't put bread or butter on the table because it doesn't pay anything usually, but I do it more than anything else, and I love it the most, I think.
That's great. That's lovely. I mean, I think that like having gone back to doing improv from doing stand-up for years and years and years, the attitude is just so different, and it's so much nicer.
Oh yeah, between stand-up and improv?
Yeah, I think so, because like every time you talk to a stand-up, you're like, oh, I just gotta get booked on these shows. I'm trying to make these jokes work. I just gotta do. It's all this like anxiety, whereas, there's some anxiety, I'm sure, to sketch and whatnot, but like I feel like people who come from it from acting are like, oh no, I love this.
Oh, totally. Plus, I'm like, I really don't have what it takes to do stand up. I'm like, if you're mean to me, you will hurt my feelings. Like, being a sketch comedian and doing improv is like my favorite part about it is collaborating with other people. And like, when you sort of like make a misstep, you have somebody there to like support you, and you can support other people, and it's like fun, and you're with other people. And I hate being alone in general. So I'm like, the idea of just like sort of writing jokes alone and then sort of like being alone on stage like sounds so terrible to me. And yet so many great comedians do it, and I just don't, it's not within me.
Yeah, I understand. I think it's barely within me. I think I really I think I really started doing it, kind of as a
Barely
necessity.
within me is such a funny thing to say.
It's barely within, I don't know.
Barely within me.
What's your first memory of being at the cinema?
I would say me and so I have 5 sisters, so lots of gals, and I have like memories of going to the movies on Christmas Day whenever there was like a big Christmas Day theatrical release. Because so I'm like, I know Les Mis wasn't the first movie I saw because that came out when I was in high school, but like that is coming to mind because it came out on Christmas Day. And like Little Women came out on Christmas Day, and my family went and saw that on Christmas Day. So I would say like Christmas when it comes to like first movie viewing experiences, like in the theaters. Yeah, just being with all my sisters.
That's so nice.
Yeah,
Family connection.
totally. Especially Little Women. I'm like, that's like in my mind, very Christmassy movie and a very sisterly movie. So it's like,
Yeah.
what better movie to see on Christmas with all five of your sisters?
Oh, that's so good. That's very, very good. Sorry, as well, when you were like, Les Mis came out in high school, I was like, quick did some like carbon dating for me. I was like, no, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah, I
hold
know.
on.
Like, I think I was in high
Hmm.
school.
Um,
Yeah.
you're, as you said, an actor. Do you have a favorite actor, someone you admire that you look to, or someone that you saw first that said, no, I want to do that?
I love Mindy Kaling. I'm South Asian, and so like she was like my like North Star, I would say, like
Hmm.
growing up. So like seeing her on The Office and watching the Mindy Project was huge for me. And then Greta Gerwig was another one. Like I saw Frances Ha when I was 18, 16, oh no, 16. Whoa, hello, six times in the theaters.
Oh,
Which
wow.
a movie that she made for like $2 and it was like in black and white and I like loved it so much. So they were like two of my faves. And then I also loved Helena Bonham Carter
Hmm.
for um she's incredible, but I like her performance as Ophelia. I like would watch her like specifically the moment where she like loses her mind. I would watch that scene like 2 inches from my television screen like over and over again. Huge red flag vibes, honestly.
I
I'm
was gonna
like,
say normal behavior from everyone around.
parents should have been worried. But I was like, I found like her commitment to be like so amazing. Obviously not a comedy, but I was like, just like the way that she committed all the way and was like willing to go so like ugly with it and like be so dropped in. I found like so beautiful and yeah, I don't know. So those are all three very different actors, but all very inspiring to me.
Yeah, I think they are a bit different from each other, but I do think they all have that same level of like, oh no, I'm just gonna do this.
Yeah, maybe
There's,
that's what I like so much.
there's no
But
like hesitation around any of them. And I would say, other than Helena Bonham Carter losing her mind or whatever,
Mhm.
very subtle and flat affect.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true, which is so not my thing. I'm like really cartoonish, but I'm like, but yeah, so I guess I was like not taking anything from this, but I do admire it. Yeah, that's super true. Yeah, I think also I like that both Mindy Kaling and Greta like, and since they're both writers and obviously they produce and tend to direct and those things, like their characters are usually very flawed but unapologetic and they like feel extremely like defensive of who they are and I think I identify with that aspect, like just like Mindy's character on the Mindy Project, like just being like, what are you talking about? I'm an angel. Like I was like, I found that to be extremely funny as well. So yeah, I think I like those types of characters.
Okay. Do you have a go-to snack for when you're at the cinema?
I love snacking at the movies in general, and my fiance is not a big snacker in general, and especially not the movies, which is like a huge, it's honestly a huge wedge in our relationship, in our otherwise perfect relationship. But I love a popcorn moment. I also love a slushie, and I'm also like a sour candy person, so
Okay.
sour. My sister loves Raisinets, which I think is like just of anything that you could have at the movies. I'm like, hi, hi, Raisinets.
I mean, I
Sorry to any Raisinette lovers. If those Raisinets were about to sponsor this pod, and they're like, okay,
yeah.
we withdraw.
Yeah, they are. I have them pending. We have a pending deal with Raisinets.
Sorry, I
I
just screwed
mean,
that.
here's the thing though. In defense of Raisinets, this is not about Raisinets, but in defense of a Raisinette, I've been obsessed with Hershey's Mr. Good bar. Have you had one?
I don't think I have. Is it like crunchy thing?
It's a crunchy thing. It's a milk chocolate bar with peanuts in it. It's the simplest.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. You go, oh, that's fine. It's like a classic bar, and I think we've gotten, I do like a sour, I do like a gummy, but I think
Mhm.
we've gone a little crazy with candy. Not to sound
It's
like a boomer. My two favorites are Mr. Goodbar and Butterscotch, and I feel like we kind of knocked it out of the park, and we just got to take a step back.
I agree with you. I'm like, you do sound like a boomer who's like, kids' attention spans and they the TikToks and they can't enjoy regular candy anymore. And it's so true though. I'm like, yeah, you have to make everything. But to be fair, our generation was like, they were doing that stuff too. Like when we were growing up, they were introducing like blue ketchup and like
Oh yeah.
fizzy like moon shoes and stuff. Like we're the generation of like normal stuff. Like they were making crazy stuff happen when we were born too. But I think I agree. Like simple stuff is better, says the girl who loves sour spaghetti.
Sour spaghetti. Knees weak, arms are heavy. Um, I hear you. I also like I was in this is so not related to movies or anything, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I was in a dollar store yesterday and I was in line and I was just staring at how bright the purple is on some of these gum packets. And if
Oh
you ever
yeah.
like stopped and thought about how we package candy and how like vibrant those colors are, and how like Michelangelo would be like so jealous to get
Of the
that
vibrant
coated.
purples.
Yeah,
That's
like
so interesting. What a crazy thought.
I
I mean, they're
know.
really just kind of doing what like Vegas slot machines are doing. Like they're like, look at this candy. It's the most your lizard brain. Look over here. Like womp womp womp. Like it's but I'm sure Michelangelo, he's also got a lizard brain. I'm sure he would also be drawn
Yeah,
to the craziest purple.
I think so too. And I think if you gave him like a Sour Patch Kid, he'd be like, "Oh, mamma mia, what's this?"
He would pass away.
Yeah,
He would simply
he'd pass away.
he'd probably die.
My body. Oh, ah. Ugh. All right. Enough fun. Are you ready for some movie trivia?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. This is the first one I start with every time.
Okay.
I say, "What is movie?"
Movie.
What is
What is
movie?
movie?
Yeah.
Movie is a moving picture um telling a story, and it usually um has a a beginning, middle, and end.
I like that. I love the word usually, doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
Well, I'm trying not to be taken to court here.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen, I watched Megalopolis. There's some questionable things happening in cinema.
Uh,
Um, what director is the best actor? I think I know who you're gonna say.
I'm gonna say Greta Gerwig.
Yeah, but besides Greta Gerwig, obviously.
I totally believe that, but other than Greta Gerwig, because I feel like that's cheap for me, I would say Taika Waititi. I think
Oh yeah.
Taika is extremely funny in What We Do in the Shadows, and also in what's his Oscar-winning one?
Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah, Jojo Rabbit. There it is.
I
Which
always
I
forget,
also
I always forget that's him, which is, I guess, a mark
I
of good
know.
acting. Um,
Yeah, which obviously terrible Hitler, like obviously a not convincing Hitler, but it's
as is
incredible.
meant to be, yeah.
Yeah, as is intended. But yeah, I think he's an amazing actor. And if he decided like, you know what, I'm gonna take a break from directing and I'm just gonna act for a while, I think I would be still pleased with that.
I mean, I think he's kind of doing that now. He's in a bunch of stuff where he's just acting and writing and
Is he
nothing
really?
major. He's in Time Bandits. I guess he's been writing What We Do in the Shadows as well a bit. But yeah, he seems to be taking a step back because his last two movies were not well received,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is like fair enough.
I forget. Did he do something bad? Did he do something bad? I feel like he
No.
maybe did. I don't remember. I
I
hope
don't
not.
I don't want to get into it. He said some
Okay.
off-color thing in like 2003 that someone dug up because they were sick of him.
Oh,
Like
that's a
it was one
bummer.
of those situations where we're all annoyed with Taika. His movies have been
Eh,
stinky. Let's
we've
find
been
something on
seeing
him.
him too much. Let's bring him down a peg. I see. I see.
Yeah,
Well,
which
then
is
you know what? I'm going to cut him some slack. I think he's extremely talented and very funny. Hope
I do
that his
too.
next movie is as good as some of his other ones that I loved very much were.
I think he's really good in Hunt for the Wilder People. In that one scene where he plays the pastor.
I have not seen, but I will look into that.
I think it's. I would highly recommend. I think it's his best film outside of Boy, which he also stars in. He's the like second lead in Boy. He plays the dad. There's two main characters. There's the boy and there's the dad, and he plays the dad.
It was this close to being called Dad. It was so close to being
You know what? It probably
chopping just on the cutting room floor. They said, at the last moment, they said, you know what? Let's call it Boy.
was. Well, let's call it Boy because the subtext is Dad.
So it's called Boy, but then the slogan is Dad.
Dad? Papa? Oh boy. My next question is, what is my favorite movie?
What is your favorite
Yeah, what do you
movie?
think my favorite movie is?
Lauren, I should have listened to every single one of your podcasts to
I mean, you should do that anyway. Quite
Mm.
good.
Yeah, the ones I did listen to were delightful.
Oh, you actually did listen. That's so
Yes,
sweet of you.
of course, so fun. Okay, let me think. Here's the thing. I feel like whatever guess it is could come across, if it's the wrong type of guess, it could come across as an insult, and which would
No.
obviously not be intended. But I'm like, I want to be at least close, like at least be like something you like.
Mm.
Or maybe it's something like really simple, like something you saw as a kid. I don't know. I'm gonna guess something simple and fun because you like simple candy.
I do.
I'm gonna say, I don't know why. I'm gonna
Simple
say
candy. It sounds so mean.
you got simple little baby brain. I'm gonna guess, um, I'm gonna guess You've Got Mail.
It's a movie I enjoy. I'll say that.
Yay!
You didn't pick something I hated. I would not say it's my favorite film.
Okay, okay.
Um,
What is your favorite film?
I say I never tell, and then I always do. Obviously it's in flux, but my letterbox top four
Ooh,
are Woman Under the Influence,
have not seen it.
great film starring Gina Rollins, direct and Peter Falk, directed by John Cassavetes. It's about you'd probably like it. It's about a woman going nuts, and you famously should watch
Am
it
a
like this
woman.
close. Kiki's Delivery Service, which as of this recording, I'm gonna go see in cinemas tonight. I'm very excited.
No way,
Yeah,
fun.
I'm going to cry so hard. I always do.
Sounds amazing.
Lord of the Rings: The Fellowship of the Ring, great film.
You know what's crazy is I almost guessed a Lord of the Rings movie, but I was like, because Lord of the Rings are like in some of my favorite movies, but I'm like, to the wrong person, that could seem like an insult.
In
I
what world?
I
They're a
don't know.
phenomenal hit.
I was talking about this week with somebody, like how I would die on that hill that they're like, I think perfect movies. But like some people would take that as like you think I'm a Lord of the Rings person? And I'm like, well, as a Lord of the Rings person, I think that's a compliment.
I
But
don't know if you can see, got an elvish tattoo, so
oh
there
my
you go.
God. See,
Yeah.
there were hints right in front of Maya.
But yeah, no, also like they were a huge success. That's like when you go, oh, you're a Star Wars fan or a Marvel fan. It's like, yeah, it's just in the culture. It's fine.
Sorry. I'm like, it's actually, that's not a weird thing. That's like,
No.
that makes me actually normal. Like,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
normal to have seen
the
Pirates of the
number.
Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl at least 3 times in theaters. It's normal to
Normal.
have some sort of relationship with the Harry Potter franchise. And then the fourth one is called Whale Rider, which is a New Zealand film that I'd highly
I
recommend.
loved Wheel Rider.
Oh, it's so good.
So beautiful. I cried too much to that one.
Yeah, I didn't really like I've seen it over like once almost like once a decade and I kind of got it then I watched it before I went to New Zealand last year and just sobbing Just
my
a
God,
beautiful film. Ugh.
it's gorgeous. Where did
Yeah.
that actress go? She was kind of like, she had
Keisha
like a moment. Yeah.
Keisha Cashel Hughes is currently on a show that films in New York. She's out and about. Follow her on Instagram. She's in FBI, where she plays, if you can believe it,
Wait,
an FBI agent. Yeah.
what are the odds?
Yeah.
Wait, that's crazy. She's like here. She's among us.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think I've auditioned for FBI,
You should
and
try
I
and get it
really
harder next time so you can meet
try to be more talented. I didn't get that one. Yeah, actually, good point. Thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna think about that after we're done with this.
Remember when you're like, I'm worried about being mean? Come on.
That's up next.
We're all friends here. All right. Next question is, what movie makes you horniest? And it can't be pornography.
Newsies, without a doubt, it's Newsies. It was it was my sexual awakening. I my so much so that my high school boyfriend dressed like a newsie to ask me to prom. Like it wasn't even a secret. Like I love love Newsies to this day. Yeah, there's something about like, and the thing is, it wasn't any of them individually. Like probably Spot Collins was like the one I was most like, whoa. But it's really just the idea of like a group of dirty men dancing together
So
and
Mary
wearing like,
Poppins also big for you?
does it for me. That's not a joke. The chimney sweeps really do something for me. But yeah, a bunch of men in a set made to look like New York City, sweaty, covered in soot, and little caps, little kerchiefs. Did something when I was a teenager. I was like, there's nothing. I will nothing will ever come close to this. Yeah. And nothing ever has again. It's a perfect movie, perfect sexy movie.
Point of order. It's about kids.
Yeah. Okay, so and here's the thing. And you know, and that's a good point. And on that topic, they have since turned into a musical that adults do. And so I'm allowed to find it horny and sexy still because adults do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought about this. Take me to court, Tristan. I'm ready to go.
Put me in, coach.
Yeah, Jeremy Jordan is an adult man playing, forgetting the lead character's name for some reason, but he wants to go to Santa Fe and he has a dream.
That's true. He does want to go to Santa Fe. He has a dream. It's about unions as well, which is great.
Yes, we love that. We love that.
Stan.
There was one woman in it, and I was like, that's me, obviously. Hello?
Hello? Gosh, what was I gonna say? Oh, don't know where my voice went. Oh bother.
Yeah, Newsies has that effect on me too.
Yes, sorry. I was just not expecting Newsies at all. I'm just kind of thrown. Like, I'm not easily shaken by this, but just grubby little street urchins. Do you like Oliver as well?
See, they're too young. Don't be weird.
I mean, fair point to you. Christian Bale is like 37 playing a 12-year-old in that movie.
He was actually a kid. Most of the leads were like men.
Yeah.
They sprinkled in some kids, but they were trying to shoot. Kenny Ortega was trying to film for as long as they could. Those were long Disney hours, so they were mostly adults. The Oliver kids, they were like
they were like kids, yeah.
Yeah, they were like yeah. What's his name? What's the really charismatic one? What's his name? He's always dancing.
No. One more time, maybe I'll get it if you do it again.
So it's like,
I've never seen the musical version of Oliver. The only one I know is there was one with Elijah Wood.
Oh, he was in that?
He played. I don't think he was in the musical one. He was just like in a version of Oliver Twist where he played the Artful Dodger, and it's
Oh,
very
that's the
funny.
one I'm thinking of. The
Oh, is it
charisma.
now?
But yeah, if you didn't see the musical one, you have no idea what I'm doing there. That's a
No, I have
very
no idea. I was in it, but in
Were
high
you in the
school,
musical?
I was. Yeah,
Who are
but
you?
chorus number whatever.
Oh my, I totally see that for you.
eh. I had a conflict. I think I would have cast as the lead villain because this theater company only cast me as villains because they didn't like me very much.
What?
Yeah, it's
Well,
a
the
whole thing.
villains are always more fun, anyways.
I think so, but I like playing decent people. I love seeing someone in the face of great peril choose to do the right thing, as Spike Lee once asked us to do.
Dang,
Um,
dang.
yeah,
Okay. Yep. There's
but
that.
that's why I love Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, there's that. You were Frodo Baggins just then.
Here's the thing about it. Jenna, here's the thing about Lord of the Rings. I saw it in the re-release. I saw Fellowship of the Ring in the re-release, and the whole time I'm just trying not to cry because I keep just thinking they're all so brave and they all love each other so much, and I'm just like,
True.
where is this now? Anyway,
So true though. That is so true. I want to totally validate your feelings. That is not an overreaction. That is exactly what you should be thinking the whole time. They're so small and brave the whole
the
time.
whole time
I agree.
I love horror films. I'm really scared by a horror film.
Me too.
And I was watching Fellowship of the Ring, and it's the scene where the Black Riders are like chasing them to Buckleberry Ferry.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I'm feeling really uncomfortable right now. Like my heart rate's going up. What's going on? And I'm like, oh, I'm scared for my friends. Like that's
God, stop. That's so sweet.
I don't know. I was just like, I was like really upset. And I'm like, I know they're fine. I know what happens. But I'm
Yeah,
like,
you're like, there's 3 movies.
I'm no only really one person dies, and it's really sad when he goes too. But like, ugh, anyway, I got like really. I was like, I've never been afraid at a movie in like 2 years, and I'm like, this is what it does. Anyway,
That is crazy. Well, that's so true. I feel like horror movies like don't have that most of the time. They're not trying to generate that feeling for you.
mm,
They're trying to generate like primal fear rather than like you're genuinely like worried about the outcome of your friends who you love very much. Like that's a different sort of that's a different that's coming from a different part of your body, I'm sure.
I think so too. Yeah, I agree with that assessment, and I also feel like most horror films don't have basically 45 minutes of setting up. Oh, you really like these guys.
Yeah, totally, totally. They're like, we got to get into the scares. People are paying for this. Yeah, totally. I just saw a Smile too.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, well, I didn't see, well, I my eyes were closed for like 70% of it. So I really saw 30% of Smile too, because it was so scary.
Was it?
But I listened to all of it. Terrifying sound design, lots of squelching, lots of bones crunching, really scary stuff. Love Smile 1, really, really scary, but I like Smile 2 was like it was really good. It's not like it was like cheaply, it wasn't like they were going for like cheap scares. It wasn't like offensively going for scares. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like blah, blah, blah the whole time. Like it was well done.
Uh-huh.
It just was so scary. I couldn't even watch it. So I was like, I think I'm like, I don't know. I think like my ability to watch those things is like sort of dwindling with age. Like I'm getting
Yeah.
softer as I get older and I just don't have it in me anymore to watch those things. I don't know.
I don't think that's a bad thing, but I also like couldn't be me. Um no, but it's one of those I think about this quote from John Carpenter a lot where someone asked him like what films scare you? And he goes,
Mhm.
"Scared at a movie? You know that's not real, right?" And that's often how I feel.
I'm sorry. You're like scared at a movie. You know that's not real, right? That's how you feel at scary movies. But the hobbits running to
Hobbits
Huckleberry Ferry,
Hobbits are
that
real. First of all, they're my friends and I love them. I think actually what happened with that, but no, like it is like I think sometimes I get really like sucked into a horror film, but a lot of the time just knowing the stakes of it, that someone is gonna die.
Yes. It sets
It
you up for you have the expectation a little bit more.
exactly. You don't get too attached for everybody. You watch the thing and you're like, none of these motherfuckers are coming out of here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
Well, it also like I think that scary movies are a little bit more like mathematical. Like there's
mm,
more of an equation there. So I think like it's easier to be removed sometimes because you can anticipate a little bit easier and like
mhm.
especially if you're a horror fan, you like can almost like see when things are gonna happen ahead of time.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm like, I'm my suspension of disbelief is like a veil, like a thin veil. Like you could put a wig on and I'd be like, that's a different person. Oh my God. I like peekaboo is like this close on me. Like I really believe this stuff. So I'm like, I get sucked in so easy. And like that stuff really freaks me out.
I wish I had that. I often will be watching a film and be watching like, oh, this camera movement's really interesting. And I'm like, I wish I could just
Turn that off.
and it takes a really good film, I think, or one that really fits my taste
Yeah.
to have, which is what happened with Fellowship of the Ring, where I'm like, this is my favorite movie. I'm gonna just watch
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
also in regards of like horror films, um, Cuckoo, that film with Hunter Schafer that came out this past year. Oh, it's phenomenal, and it got me. Like there were moments where I'm like, ugh, I don't like this, because
Yeah.
I like care about the characters, because the performance is really good and the writing's really good, and it's creepy and
Mhm.
weird, and the monster isn't like right away. It's
Yeah.
really good. It's really well
Okay,
executed.
cool.
Okay,
Okay, we'll look into that.
2 more questions for you. One, how many slaps in the face would you take to be in an A24 film?
How many would I take to be in one?
Say you're like, okay, it's down to you and one other person, but it's based off of slaps in the face. How many can you take?
Oh, literally an endless amount. Like an endless amount. I would do anything they want. They could kick me in the shins. They could line up Legos. I would step on them. Really, I also, would it be crazy for me to say, like, if that was actually how A24 did it, I like, would it be surprised? Like, like if I did make it like to the end and like, so this is how we do it at A24, I'd be like, that makes sense.
Yeah, you know what? Fair
That makes
point
sense,
too.
and I'm on board.
That's so good.
Yeah, I would totally do it. Totally. I love what they're doing over there. They're doing crazy
Uh,
fun stuff over there.
if that's A24 technique, what do you think the technique is for Neon? What do you think they're doing?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no, neon. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. They're just like waterboarding people. Yeah, that's who knows? Who knows really what's going on behind those doors? They're making some freaky stuff at Neon as well.
They truly
Um,
are.
I don't know, but keep it coming.
Yeah, absolutely. Cuckoo is one of those crazy things.
Yeah.
Final question, as always, is why is Austin Powers so sexy?
Yeah, so I heard you I heard you ask someone this. Um, so fun fact, my first sex dream ever was about Austin Powers. But here's the thing. It was it was it was before I had seen the movie and obviously before I had had sex. So it was the concept of Austin Powers and also the concept of sex. It was more like it was because I was like who knows, like 11 and I wasn't allowed to see Austin Powers yet and no one had told me about sex. And so like that my brain sort of like made that happen and it was really like nothing bad happened. Don't be worried, don't be scared. It was literally me and Austin Powers sitting on the floor back to back. That's what the dream was, and I was horrified. I was horrified. I was Oh my God, I had a filthy, filthy dream about filthy, filthy Austin Powers. And I assumed Austin Powers was like the horniest thing alive. Well, it's, that's like part of the character. But because I wasn't allowed to see the movie, my mom was like, you're not allowed to watch that movie. So in my mind, I was like, he's a sexual deviant. Like, it was like, I had like built this thing in my head. So yeah, I woke up being like, I just had a filthy, disgusting, disgusting horror dream about Austin Powers. And that deterred me from watching Austin Powers for literally years. And like, obviously, once I turned like 13, and maybe even a month after that, I learned what sex was. Who knows? But like, I knew what sex was after that. And I was like, oh, obviously that wasn't a sex dream and it wasn't scary, but it still carried that feeling. Like, it still had that like scary sex dream feeling. And so like, I was so deterred from watching Austin Powers for so long. And then I finally watched it as an adult and I was like, oh, a fun film.
So what you're saying is what makes him sexy is that he visits people's dreams?
Yeah, he's like a sex demon, I would say. Actually, you know what makes him so sexy? Your mom saying that you're not allowed to watch that movie.
That is so good.
Makes him sexy. It makes you go like, okay, that guy's a fucked up sex weirdo.
That's gonna go on the top of my resume. Sex weirdo.
I also have never had a reason to tell the story ever, and this is I think the only time it'll ever. So I'm glad there was a purpose for this.
Me too, and you better believe that it's gonna be the clip I post to social media. Ugh, I don't think I've ever received a better answer to that question. I'm gonna have to retire the bit. Ugh.
So glad. I'm so glad.
Oh boy.
I know, right?
You ready for our word of the day?
Let's do it. Bring it on.
Can't get much weirder than that. Come on, internet. Work. Oh boy. You ever have to use your cell phone because your iPad's not working?
Oh, it's just building up the suspense.
Yeah.
A24 inflating bated breath.
A friend of mine said, that movie Substance sounds like a movie that would be from your podcast.
Oh my gosh, so true.
And I was like, thank you so much.
You should just be. That would be kind of a fun side quest if at the end of each season of your pod, you were picked one idea to produce a trailer of, or see if you could pitch or something. I don't know if that's easy.
That's not a bad idea. I have 2 screenplays based off of these stupid games I've played that have been kicking around for years. So you're not wrong to do it. To do a trailer, very smart. Very smart.
Right? It'd be fun.
So our word is either wind or wind. WIND.
Wind or wind. Should we pitch for both and then sort of go with the one that feels the most lucrative as a production company
100%
who's trying to make millions and billions of dollars off this film?
Do you want wind or wind?
Wind is sort of, it's giving me, I'm immediately, I think probably because we've been talking about horror films, but I'm picking up on wind up toy, a toy that winds up and maybe it's evil. That's kind of a vibe I'm getting.
Mm-hmm.
What else does wind mean? That's the only meaning of wind, right? Wine?
Yeah, I would say so.
Or wine, wine and dine.
Wine and dine. That's with an E.
You put a little apostrophe in there, wine.
Wine. Ashton Kutcher comes out, places a bottle of Prosecco. You've been wined? Is that what you're talking about?
Been wined.
I think for me, Wind would be about someone who had to move to Nebraska because of a circumstance. No, because of so a family member in Nebraska dies, they inherit their house and they have to go.
They have to go.
They have to go and clean it up and then sell it or remodel it or whatever, but they're in charge of this estate. So if you want to combine these two things, once they're there, there's a bunch of like weird wind-up toys because the person was like owned a junk shop or whatever.
Crazy tchotchkes. It's like an old house. There's like old stuff everywhere. Wind-up toy. Or, like as soon as you said, personally, I love a rom-com. I think that not enough of them are being made.
Agreed.
And now that as a society, we're agreeing that horror comedies are fun and lucrative. And I think, why are we not dipping our toes into horror romantic comedies?
I have been saying this very thing.
You've been saying this?
I have been, like, to more than one friend, yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's like, why don't we have a film where the meet cute happens and then they go to like an escape room as like part of a date and then it goes badly? Like, why?
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, but what's your how does that relate to what we're doing now, though, in your mind? I agree full on with you.
Okay, well, if we were going to put some romantic comedy on top of what we already have, like a man having to go to Nebraska. Maybe he's from Nebraska, but he moved away because he had bigger dreams, big city dreams. He had to come back to his hometown. I'm saying the neighbor of the house that he's trying to sell is his childhood best friend, his childhood crush. Thoughts? Thoughts on the table.
I think that's very good. I think what could be added to it, perhaps rather than it being the neighbor, it could be the woman or the person. Who cares about the genders of these people? We'll work it out later. The person that's helping them like remove all this old junk. Because do you know about this service that people get where a relative or loved one dies and you can call up people that help you like basically throw away all their junk because you're too emotionally attached to it. This is a whole profession where like you show up with a bunch of garbage bags and you just look someone dead in the eye and go, throw or keep, I need to know now. And it just makes you winnow away a dead relative's stuff, or if you go sell or assist. So they could be like that could be their job, and
that's much more active.
And I think the first person is like sentimental and this other person is like no nonsense, and classic odd couple. There you go.
Love that. And obviously they're no nonsense. They're like, in general, they're like a split decision person. Like they do this as their job. So like they're like used to making those split moment decisions, which I think in the horror elements of this movie make that type of person when it comes to problem solving, and the other person more of the hesitant, like think it through person. And I think it would be fun, just overarching, wind. That could be seen as a strength, like that could be seen as a strength in these horror moments, like that they make these split moment decisions, but in the end the thing that saves them is that like kind of slow thinking, emotional thinking, more going with your like gut and your heart, that person wants, that strength that person one has.
I think
that'd be fun.
Good. Yeah, I like that a lot.
But what's wrong with this wind-up toy? Like, what's fucked up about it? What's it do?
Does it got a ghost in it? Ghost in the person.
I'm so disappointed by that already.
I don't know if it's got a ghost. I don't know, man.
It's got a ghost in it. Okay, well, not that. want our executives
I'm
to
so
be
sorry. I
excited
was thinking about
in our
something
meetings.
else.
Sorry. Do you want the wind-up toy to be a hobbit?
I
Sorry, do you want the house to be a Huckleberry Fairy?
Okay, put me in my place. Okay, do you want it to be a ghost? Should it be a demon? Should it be a piece of technology left by an ancient civilization?
Well, if this was left by the person one's grandmother, did we say
Sure.
grandmother?
Yeah, sure.
Grandmother. I'm thinking something old and ancient, maybe.
Something borrowed,
Like
something blue. Something old, something ancient, an heirloom, perhaps.
an heirloom, and maybe
Tomato.
that's why they don't want to get rid of it. Maybe that's why they like feel attached to it because they grew up with and so they keep on like as they're throwing stuff away, they're like, should we throw this away? And he's like, no, don't throw that one away. Like that's actually sentimental. Keep it. And then it keeps on popping up in different places, and they're like, do you want to throw this away? And he's like, no,
Like an elf on a shelf.
Yeah, it's a Christmas horror romantic comedy.
Yes! There we go.
Okay.
Let's go.
Gotta find a way to get superheroes in there. we simply
Well, we're
gotta
still in
find...
Act 1. We have a twist that we need in the third act, as they say. So
Could be fun. Could be a Christmas wind-up toy. Christmas wind-up like elf on a shelf.
I think they have those like wooden soldiers or like tin soldiers that you wind up, and they march.
It's that.
Yeah.
It's that. That's what it is.
Perfect.
And that makes it even more sentimental because it's Christmas time. Like they don't want to throw away a little wind-up Christmas toy that they grew up with. It's Christmas.
Yeah, it's Christmas. I think it should be that awful week between Christmas and New Year's where nothing feels real.
And you're like depressed. Like, I don't know.
What am I doing here? And this person just died before Christmas.
Oof.
Or like, yeah, it would have had to be before. I was about to give another fact. I'm like, why do I have so many facts about people dying in America? But like
I'm actually watching. Oh, sorry, you go.
You.
I'm watching a documentary right now. Don't remember what it's called. It's a docuseries, but about like a woman who disappears the day before Christmas. So it's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. But now you go with your thing.
Sure. I mean, like the week before and 2 days after Christmas are really high for people like death counts. Because either they're trying to hold out and can't, and they're stressing themselves and then they pass. Or they hold out to the holidays, they see all their families, and then... Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, you mean just people like dying of old age? Like, yeah. Or of illnesses?
Or like illnesses and stuff. Yeah, it's like a lot. It's pretty fraught. Sorry to bum you out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's grim.
Whoa.
Okay, let's talk about how Austin Powers is sexy again. I'm so sorry.
It's just crazy because you like hear about people being like, oh yeah, like they held on till that, but like you really can't deny those numbers. Like people actually do like hold on. Like that's a real thing.
Yeah.
That's wild.
The human will is often stronger than we give it credit for, I think.
Yeah,
which is the point of Lord of the Rings.
How can we make this more like Lord of the Rings? That's really
well. I think Elijah would be down to do this. He'd put him in the lead.
He needs to play the little soldier. It's just him.
That's so good.
Tiny. Well, I was about to say because similar to, did you see Swiss Army Man?
I have not.
I loved it. I think you might enjoy it. It's quite fun.
I think I would as well.
Highly recommend. But Daniel Radcliffe plays a dead body in it. And they said, the directors, the Daniels, said that like there were so many days on set where they're like, oh, like you're not needed. Like we'll just use like a body double because it's just a dead body. And Daniel was like, no, I like want to be on set. Like I'll be there. Like he like just wanted to like be there and like have his energy there, which is so sweet. And so he like was just like, and like they just like spoke so highly of him the entire time. And I feel like this would be Elijah Wood's like arc, like this is his moment to do the dead body thing. Like he gets to be like the little wind-up toy, and everyone's like, what a small part for him, but it actually is a big part, and it's kind of like crazy and challenging, and it's like kind of like kind of like an awesome part for him, and it like kind of like changes the path of his career. This is how we're gonna pitch it to Elijah Wood's reps. This is how we're bringing it. We're gonna be like, watch Swiss Army Man. Elijah Wood, Dana Radcliffe, both two little guys. Two little funny
guys in a fantasy franchise. They get mistaken for each other often.
All the time. Elijah Wood, not British. People think he is. Like, they're so similar. Do you see what he did with this? This could be like that, except rom-com horror, Chris.
Mm-hmm. Elijah Wood owns a production company that exclusively deals in horror films. So there you go.
Do they really?
Yeah, he has a great film that I've yet to see, but I love the premise of, which is called Cooties, which is a zombie outbreak film, but it only affects little kids.
What a fun idea. Why didn't we come up with that?
I think I did, and then it floated away because I didn't have the means to do it. You know how an idea will come to you and then be like, you can't do this one, I have to go.
It floated over to Elijah Wood's production company.
I think is what happened.
You should sue.
Can you own an idea?
Whoa.
Whoa. I'm just saying, can you really own an idea?
Whoa.
This is me in court.
And write that down.
This is me in court having made a full Mickey Mouse cartoon. Can you really own an idea? What is an idea? And also,
Walt is dead. So... That's very funny.
Thanks. I try. I like him being the wooden soldier. I think let's get Hunter Schafer in there again. She's great.
Oh yeah, she's amazing. And hot right now.
Yeah,
working. Yeah, she needs to be in a Christmas horror film.
I think so.
That's like next in her trajectory. I'm sure it's already on her radar.
Yeah, that absolutely tracks. Someone to play
the other person
who's like
would
nonsense.
Hunter be okay? So Hunter would be.
I think that makes the most sense. I personally think Katie O'Brien would be a good choice.
Why am I not picturing Katie O'Brien?
Love Lies Bleeding, Twisters. She's from, I think, Indiana, so it fits the Midwest sort of thing.
Let me Google. Hold on.
Yeah.
Brian. Why did a picture of two people come up? Like a Tinder profile. I was like, oh, okay. Yes, totally. Katie O'Brien would be so fun.
And like she's jacked as well, and that's great for like scenes where she's lifting stuff.
Ooh, love that. Yeah, we get some muscles in there. A movie needs muscles. This is Hollywood.
I think that's great.
This is turning out great.
I think so.
And so what is little Elijah Wood as the little tin soldier do? What is his like sort of like evil thing?
I think it's like a sort of poltergeist situation where tin soldier, it's made from the bullets from the Civil War on the wrong side. And so it's cursed, and this soul of a person that was in the Civil War is trapped in the metal. And so they have to melt the metal down to release the soul.
That just came to you like a brain blast.
Yeah.
Like we were kind of like inching towards something. Like we were like, yeah, that would be fun. That'd be fun. And then you were like, boom, boom.
Yeah.
That was like really crazy. I love that. And okay, what if it's a soldier and he freaking died on Christmas?
Oh, love that.
Yeah. So and Elijah Wood was that soldier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I like that a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
And so and it's a poltergeist situation, so he's kind of like trying to get the attention of it's not like he has evil. Well, he was on the wrong side though, so he
Do you want that? Do you want that, or do you want him to be a northerner?
well, what if they melt the metal, release his soul, figure out that he was on the wrong side, and then send him straight to hell?
I like that.
That's great.
I like that.
Okay. So
And
I think yeah, that's the reveal. Like they think, oh, it's a trapped soul. Like we have to release him. And like they find all these letters and then they release the soul. And then Elijah Wood comes out, says some racist stuff. They're like, what the fuck? And then how do you like send a soul to exercise it but send it to hell?
I think there's got to be. Yeah, I think you would. How would you? It would just be the soul would be released, and then I think I don't think could they send it to hell? I mean, this is getting into like
Who has the authority?
Yeah, biblical lore stuff. What would be funny would be if one of them was like, "No, I got ordained online for a friend's wedding."
Oh, yes, of
and
course.
It's like, no, I have been given the 7 keys or whatever it is. You know, I can send or release souls to heaven or hell because this is how, like, whatever the lore is. Yeah, and perfect. Elijah Wood, of course, did not know that.
Yeah, Elijah Wood didn't foresee that.
I think then maybe, should we change the casting?
Is it too many white people?
Because I think it would be more meaningful if one of them was black, if he's on the wrong side of the war.
I agree. I was thinking that as well. I was like, well, yeah, it's a bunch of white people being like,
yeah.
That is kind of an issue.
Like it's very gay, sure, whatever. But...
Yeah, which is fun, which is very, very fun. But yeah, I agree. Okay, but like
Keke Palmer in there.
I was literally I was like, if we want someone funny and like Keke Palmer would just die to work with her. Yeah, obviously Keke Palmer. We need Keke Palmer.
So I think Keke Palmer should replace Hunter Schafer.
Okay, so we have
otherwise that age gap is like crazy.
Yeah, very, very, very true. Very, very true. Ugh, love Keke Palmer. Ooh.
And I think that she could have a meal with her figuring out that he was a Confederate soldier
on the wrong side. That's hilarious. That's hilarious now. Yeah. I love that. Actually, I would love to see the comedy between Elijah Wood and Keke Palmer. Like I'm like dying to see them play off each other now. Yeah, and then they send Elijah Wood to hell.
They send him straight to hell, and I think that's the thing, you know how that's you're talking about how one of them's very emotional and one of them's not. And I think the emotionality comes from the intuitive nature comes from the religious background.
Yes.
Where someone's like, I don't believe in God, whatever, that whole time. And then obviously there's like a ghost and they're going to hell. And they're like, okay, well, I guess there's something out there.
Yeah, totally.
Like a sort of X-Files dynamic.
Yes, totally. Love that. Yeah, and that's sort of what makes them that like, that like more like feeling person because they have that belief system. They have that sort of thing that they believe in. Love that.
And that can be in the beginning, like a conversation they have about like, well, it's Christmas. And one of them's like, oh, I love this time of year. You get to spend, family, blah, blah, blah. And the other person's like, it's just a holiday to sell cards or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, it's a capitalistic, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, totally.
I think the image that I have that keeps coming to me with like them trying to melt it down, right? Melt down the metal. The soul comes out. And then the fire, when the soul comes out, starts going out of control, and the house burns down. Because of course the house, it has to.
Oh, it has to. And the symbolism there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I think it would be a wide, them watching it the fire blaze. And one of them goes, that's a shame about all of that stuff. Well, it's easy to let go. Also the insurance. Cut to black.
Yes. Perfect. Love it. Love it.
Let's fucking go.
Let's go.
Who do you think should direct this picture?
Let's see. Well, I mean, obviously with a comedy horror and Keke Palmer's in it, I'm thinking Jordan Peele, but
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But I think we should maybe surprise people with someone who hasn't done that before. Who directed Barbarian?
Oh, I don't know, but let me look it up quick.
That could be fun because that almost does have all the elements that we're working with as well. And although I think that was a white guy. And I would
Krieger.
I want it to be, maybe Jordan Peele is the perfect person.
I think he is the perfect person, and I think we don't need to push too hard.
Yeah, I think Jordan Peele is exactly who we should be doing this with. Yeah. Yeah, let's call him up. Let's freaking call Jordan Peele. No, we shouldn't do an impression of Jordan Peele.
I was like, you want to do that one? One of us is
no.
One of us isn't white on the call, and we'll get in less trouble. Sorry, fewer troubles.
I meant that more as a joke. Wouldn't it be hilarious?
Yeah, no. I understood.
And I was like, oh no, he's gonna think we're Jordan Peele. I was like, no.
Sound like I couldn't even. He's also a very nice voice.
Yeah, he does. He's also he's when you watch interviews of him, it's also so funny because I'm most of the things I've seen him do are characters, and he's such an amazing character comedian that I've seen him do a million trillion voices, but him as a person is actually quite measured and not over the top and not cartoonish at all. So he's just really kind of brilliant and talented. Hard to impersonate though. Yeah, it's way too.
If you had been let me call up Jordan Peele, I'd be like, hello, it's Jordan Peele, isn't it? I would have just been a thwapa. Let me just bat this away real quick.
Everyone's favorite director,
Jordan Peele. Oh no, this is Gordon Peele. You got the wrong number, haven't you? Do I make you horny, babe? Oh, what a mess.
That was perfect, the way that found Do I Make You Horny, Baby? That was perfect. Excellent. Excellent storytelling. And that's why you're the exec of our production company.
Do what I can. Do you want to do a quick excuse me, sniffling on the microphone. I'm so sorry. Do you want to do a couple quick lightning rounds, or how are you feeling?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
First one I have is Barrier. Barrier.
Barrier. Ooh, this is the guy who it's a mockumentary about the guy he's not the grave digger, he just buries the bodies.
That's
so it's
funny.
It's a buddy cop movie kind of, and he aspires to be the grave digger, but at the moment he just buries the bodies, and he's like, one day I'll be allowed to dig the graves.
Oh, I like that a lot. I really do. Mine's about the Great Barrier Reef, and it stars David Wenham and Hugh Jackman as a couple that are trying to save the Great Barrier Reef against corporate
against corporate.
Yeah, period. But a company's trying to buy up the land surrounding, they're like, we can buy this land surely, and everyone's like, it's the ocean, mate. What are you, stupid? That doesn't belong to anyone.
Right.
And so they're fighting against that. Directed by James Cameron. And the person who plays
lens flares, but under the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. It's involves the it's mostly under the ocean. It's mostly about diving, really. He loves to be under the sea, as they say. I think the corporate overlord is played by Richard Dreyfuss.
I'm now mad that doesn't exist. I really want to watch that so bad.
Just imagine. I watched What About Bob on Sunday, at Museum of Moving Image, and so he's on front of mine, and I forgot his like laugh that he does in every freaking movie where he's like. So I would imagine there's like a scene between. I know these are supposed to be shorter, but whatever. Where like Hugh Jackman is so much bigger than him,
Oh my God.
you
That's
know, and they
hilarious.
finally meet in person, and he's just like, I reckon you should stop doing this, mate. And he just goes, sure. Yeah.
That was so good.
Hey, thanks. I
That was
love.
so good. Like both accent work, the character, like wow, that was incredible.
Thank you. I
Take my
appreciate
money.
that.
Take my money.
The next one we have is. Come on, internet. We're gonna just go with the one that was before. Europe. Europe. What is
Europe.
Europe?
Europe. Europe. Okay, so I was literally gonna say it. It's
Yeah, no, you have to now. What is it? What is it?
so stupid. I was gonna say it's a Mary-Kate and Ashley movie where they go to Europe, but they have so many of those.
Yeah, but pick a new country. What country are they seeing now? They're as adults. Come on.
Mary-Kate and Ashley. Well, so they have one where they go to like London. They have one where they go to Paris. Like I would
I'm
love to see
aware.
that now they're adults and they're going to like deep club, like the dark club houses of Berlin.
Yes. That's so
They're
good.
both, they're both addicts.
But
And
what
this
about
is
in the movie?
and-
Got him.
Zing on. Finally, bring Mary-Kate and Ashley
Yeah,
down.
two people who have had a normal life. I should really just cut it out. Ugh.
Yeah, so it's a movie about them, and like really it's just like a dark film about like their and them partying too hard in Berlin, and it's made by Neon actually.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
Love that.
It's yours.
My Europe is about a it's about a robot that gets sent to space to try and go to one of the moons of Jupiter called Europa.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a Wall-E sort of this robot feels alone and then discovers that there is alien life, but the alien life like exists in space and not on the planet. So it meets it along the way. It's like a bacteria that it can communicate with using binary code.
Oh my God.
And that's how, the cells reproduce is using binary code, and so they end up being able to talk. And then obviously there's some sort of thing that's threatening them, and they have to figure that out.
Your ideas are like like there's like layers there. Like that is so fun. I immediately want I'm in. I'm in.
Thank you so
Europa.
much. I appreciate that. Someone should acknowledge my genius. Lord knows it's not, let me check my note here. Casting directors.
You just have a note that says casting director so you can remember who to be mad at. Oh yeah.
All right. Oh, why I wanna. I got one more for us. Do, D-O.
Do.
Do. Do the do.
Do. Yeah, so this is unfortunately Shia LaBeouf's director. No, he has directed a movie before.
He
This
has
is
a couple.
this is his documentary debut, and it's called Do It. It's called Do It, just do it. And it's actually just him. It's actually him. He's now being hired as like a life coach. And he is hired by people who just like need like really, really aggressive words of affirmation. And he just sort of follows them around and yells at them. And it's called Do It. And it will not be going to theaters. People have found that it's actually extremely triggering and not safe for viewership. So unfortunately, it will not be coming to theaters, but it was made and watched by every theater.
Zaslav.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, this one's bad and I can get a write-off on it. Easy decision for me.
There we go. Just do it.
Ooh, just do it. I think for me, Do is about a woman who moves to a new town because she's in some sort of trouble. My favorite kind of picture. I love all of David Lynch's movies. It's about a lady who's got a problem. And she's in some kind of trouble there, and
so relatable already.
Yeah.
It's me.
But she's had to create a new identity for herself because she's on the run from the feds. And so it's Jane D-O, and then, when the trailer comes up, it says the E there.
That's so fun. Yeah, Jane Doe. Yeah, I love
Jane Doe. Is that anything?
D.I. Jane Doe.
Yeah, she's running from war crimes. Yeah. She defected.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Actually, I do think that there's a sketch there. That's quite fun. G.I. Jane Doe.
Can you defect from America?
I've never tried.
Oh, well, we've come to the end of the evening, by which I mean 2:15 p.m.
Now I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, this has been heaps of fun. This has been so much fun.
So fun. Honestly, thank you so much for having me. It was a blast.
Of course, you're always welcome anytime you want. What do you want people who made it this far to know about you?
I'm a nice girl and I have a lot to offer. I don't know.
You writing letters to casting directors.
I swear, I really have what it takes to carry a TV show. I have the charisma. I do a lot of sketch if you want to see me do that. I mean, just follow me on Instagram, probably is what I would say. Follow me on Instagram at Shmetta. It's like Jetta, but with a shma. SHMETTA. I really post everything I do on there if you have interest in more of this. But yeah, and that's pretty much it. And thank you again for having me. I'm so happy I did this. It was so much fun.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm very happy you did it as well. This was really a blast. I want to remind the listener that you can support this podcast by going to tristanmiller.substack.com and subscribing there. I also do movie reviews. I'm currently working on my Megalopolis review, and will I ever finish it? Who can say? But you can do that. That's where you can watch these podcasts if you're into watching podcasts. What is a podcast that's seen, if not just a talk show? Who knows? You can listen to the podcast as well. I post clips of my comedy there. And then also I do a bonus podcast where people talk about their comfort films called Movies to Fall Asleep To. It's a sleep podcast, which I eventually, once I have 8 to 9 episodes, which is the recommended amount of hours you get for sleep, I'll make those public. But so you can actually fall asleep to it.
Once it's REM cycle worthy, then
precisely. See, you get it. But other than that, I want to thank you very much for doing this. It was so much fun, and I hope to meet you in person.
I know. I can't believe we haven't met yet. I'm sure I will meet you soon, and I will see you around.
I'm sure I will be at one of your sketch shows soon. I think maybe actually next month, but I will follow you on the gram and we will find a time. But
okay, yeah.
And that's it. I'm gonna stop recording this Zoom meeting. Bye.